The Dateline NBC Friday Night with Lori Vallow Daybell.
And Keith.
Let's watch the promo because we missed it. We'll tell you why.
Sit down. We're going to do this.
All right, we're ready? Are you keeping track, Keith? Can we agree on that, Keith? Can I joke with you, Keith? Can we joke? Good one, Keith. You've heard a lot of stuff, Keith, and I'm here to say you've heard a lot of stuff, but what I tell you will be the truth. I thought we were going to be friends, Keith. I thought we were going to be friends.
If you're not...
Get your facts straight, Keith. Aren't appearances not what they might seem to be, Keith? Could you get your life story out in 90 minutes, Keith? How old are you, Keith? Keith, we can talk all day. I can talk all day. I don't have anything to do. You could extend your time. Come back. Come see me.
She doesn't come across as crazy, as batshit crazy at all, does she?
Not even a little.
Yeah,
Someone clearly read somewhere that saying someone's name makes them like you more.
Yeah.
And just ran with it.
Oh, boy. So we missed that because we went and saw Wind in the Willows, which we'll talk about in just a bit here on the episode. We totally missed it. And I hear from friends who did watch it that you didn't miss much.
Oh.
She knew that she only had a 90-minute interview with this Keith Morrison. Mm-hmm. And she kind of like let the clock run out while she was telling a bunch of other tales. And he couldn't, I don't know, not fit a word in edgewise, but he couldn't get to the
couldn't
meat.
Drag her back to the main point.
Or the heart, yeah.
Now, one thing that I did see was, and it might not have been this interview, it might have been a different one, but it was her saying that she had seen a vision that she would not be in jail anymore and that she would be exonerated. So...
Yeah, meanwhile, Chad Daybell has been convicted of 3 murders.
I wonder if once he is executed, if she'll be like, oh, maybe this isn't going to happen. Like, I do kind of wonder how long until she's like, oh no, my vision won't happen the way I saw it.
Yeah, probably when she's standing in front of the firing squad.
Well, I know that she won't be. Didn't she have the death penalty taken off the table?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
We're bad at following stuff. You can Google it if you care.
Right.
So let's move on to some of the TV we watched this week.
Yes.
Because it very much has to do with this area and more true crime, unfortunately.
Right.
Devil in the Family, The Fall of Ruby Franke.
Oh, that was a wild
Hulu.
one, wasn't it?
It's a 3-parter, 50-minute episodes.
Right.
And I had always kind of wondered, how the hell was Jodi Hildebrandt, the therapist that was involved in this, how was she guilty of anything?
Right.
Now we know.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Just 2 weirdos who found each other, fed off each other, and arrived at exactly the wrong conclusion.
You know, there was a lot of their dynamic that reminded me a lot of Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow.
Yeah, 2 crazies.
You know, and not only that, but also
lit each other
Ruby
up.
Franke and Lori Vallow both called their own children zombies. You know, and like said in some way that they were living in a state of delusion, that they weren't seeing things the way that they should. When everyone else around you is seeing the world one way while you see it another way, maybe they're not the wrong one, buddy.
It's a good time to Czechoslovakia before you Czechoslovakia.
Agreed.
Yeah, but that, the most poignant, spoiler alert, moment of the Ruby Franke documentary is when, and I believe it was a female cop, I guess it doesn't matter, but she said, I am confident that if that boy hadn't escaped the home and gone to the neighbor and asked for help, those kids would be dead by now.
Right.
So, thank goodness he did. And thank goodness they're not.
Well, and you have to assume that there was some kind of intervention in that, whether it's divine or his intuition or something like that. Like, clearly there is some force at work that helped protect them, and thank goodness for that.
Well, and props to everybody, because the question in my mind that I sort of thought about in a private moment as I was, I don't know, showering or something, intrusive thoughts, but I was like, yeah, it's a good question, is when did that happen exactly? When did they jump the shark? You know, a lot of people, Ruby Franke had this rep for being on social media and preaching about tough love. And then, you know, people started jumping on the what the hell is she smoking train.
Right.
And calling her out for that. And that devastated her and eventually made her worse, especially when she found Jodi Hildebrandt.
Right.
But as I understand the documentary, allegedly, but when does a person have a break with reality? Because I've seen plenty of behavior in my life and even been very close to it at times where it's like, that is not normal. And if that is left unchecked, that is going to lead to their death or somebody else's.
Right. Well, and I don't think there's ever any way to say exactly when they broke with reality, but I think that you can pretty confidently say that when the audience started to really turn against them in droves was when they basically let it slip that Chad, their son, had been not allowed to have his room for like a year.
7 months? Yeah. On a beanbag?
Like 8 or 9 months. Yeah. And he was, sleeping on a beanbag in the family room instead. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I can't, and when the boy finally escaped the home and went to a neighbor, he was found emaciated, choke marks, rope burns on his wrists. Yeah, ligature marks. Yeah. Another really interesting point of that documentary was when Ruby Franke and Jodi Hildebrandt were staying in one of Ruby's daughter's rooms. And at one point, the daughter went up to the room to get something from it. And there were like candles on the table and massage oil. And they asked her straight up.
And the sound of macaroni stirring.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
But the interviewer asked her straight up, like, were they lovers? And she's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure they were. Or I think they were. Yeah. Which, realistically, I think that...
Do they get to be in the same prison together?
Probably not. I do think that makes more sense, though. Because I think that it's a lot harder to turn against a romantic partner
Sometimes that
than
clouds
a friend.
Your judgment a little.
And it definitely does. Mm-hmm. And especially since Ruby is a Mormon, so since she is LDS, I think that, there was a certain amount of control that Jodi was able to hold over her because she was sort of able to be like, oh, well, this is our secret. We can't let anyone know, and
because
you can't turn against me because then I can tell.
Destroy your rep in the community that you value.
Right. Yeah. Well, and to be fair, it was sort of a mutually assured destruction because Jodi was also a very well-known LDS counselor.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They had shout out to John DeLynn from Mormon Stories podcast. Just a fascinating guy. I'd love to talk to him someday.
Oh, my gosh.
Maybe we can have a little Zoom with him at some point.
Just so you know, I am Exmo if you want to hit me up, buddy.
Okay. But that led us to, I don't know how we fit so much TV in this past week.
Yeah.
That led us to American Murder, Gabby Petito. Mm-hmm. That's on Netflix. It's also 3 50-minute-ish episodes.
Right.
And I didn't realize how close to home this was, i.e. 136 miles away. Mm-hmm. Spread Creek Campground was where Gabby Petito
was found.
Rest in peace, met her end.
Mm-hmm. Authorities are continuing their search for a missing 22-year-old woman, last believed to be in Wyoming.
Officials with Grand Teton National Park confirmed to me earlier they're searching several different areas of the park.
Boy, that was an equally messed up story. She was just starting a YouTube channel and had these dreams of fame. And her boyfriend was going back to my question, when does something jump the shark,
Right.
When they pulled the couple over just a month before?
Oh, days before.
Days before.
Like 2 or 3 days before she was killed.
No, because it was like 7 days before after that incident that she released her first video.
Right.
Well, we'll get the timeline.
It was a few weeks before, if anything.
But it was so close. Like you even said, it's so weird watching a documentary that A, is so recent, and B, is so close to home with places we've driven.
Uh-huh.
And then we watched Yellowstone, at Kevin's suggestion. Thank you for this one, Kevin. We watched Yellowstone Supervolcano, American Doomsday. And that's on Max. And it's basically, I can sum it up for you. It's 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute doc, very well done. Mm-hmm. I can sum it up for you in 9 seconds, I think. We here in East Idaho are if the Yellowstone supervolcano blows, we're in the kill zone, and so is most of South Idaho. And then the rest of the continent will be quickly covered in ash, and probably effects will be felt globally as that ash cloud, dissipates over the entire earth.
So buy your air purifiers now, folks.
But if there's any kids listening, I want to and you shouldn't be, damn it. Where's your parents? If there's any kids listening, I want to tell you that one of the big points they made in the documentary. You have to understand how geologists think, because they say it could blow any minute now. It's overdue, in fact, they say, meaning any time in the next 10,000 years.
Right.
So everybody relax.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If
Okay.
we go, we go. If we blow, we blow.